Part 1. The Introduction to the Aleph Bayit Ivri. The Hebrew alphabet. What I would like to do before we start discussing the letters themselves is to give you an overview of things that might be easily overlooked. There's a powerful revelation found within the simple phrase, Aleph Bayit Ivri, translated to us in English as Hebrew alphabet. It is a coded treasure waiting to be discovered. And when it is found, when one has the eyes to see it, when expanded upon it, brings forth such clarity to the seeker of truth, which is more light within. Light is information that has no bias, as it is truth. Light waves carry and broadcast frequencies, energy, meant for inward formation that will ultimately manifest outwardly. Hebrew, Aramaic are of the frequency of light love. They affect how we see, decode the matrix around us. Frequencies are everywhere we look, through the seen, unseen, that make up the matter that surrounds us. This is energy that we interact with daily. Let's watch a quick video that describes this matrix in a form that we can begin to relate to.
And I've heard you say that everything in the matrix is an exact reflection of what you already are.
Well, that's because everything in the matrix, you can only experience it and perceive it because it's happening through you. So you being, and I can explain that in a very simple way. Just like you would go on any website or web page on the computer, if you right click on any website, you'll see a button that pops up that says view page source. If you click view page source, it will open up, and I encourage everybody to do this, it will open up a new window on your screen that shows a massive code. And what we once experienced as a Facebook page or a YouTube page or whatever it is, we suddenly see that it's not the page that we're experiencing on the screen, it's actually a code that's made of numbers and symbols and all these different characters that are put together with no spaces in between them. It's a long code that doesn't end. And somehow on the screen, we still see a space between the like button and the comment button, and so on and so forth. And the reason why that's so important is because the computer in and of itself is the mechanism that decodes that code to give us the experience of the Facebook page. If you had a different computer, you wouldn't see the Facebook page the same. If the computer were to decode that code differently, you'd see a completely different thing on your screen. Now, how does that translate to application? Well, that's how we work. How do we see? Our eyes decode vibrations in the air into light, into perception. Our ears decode vibrations in the air into sound, so we can hear. Our skin does the same, so we can feel, and our nose does the same, so we can smell. And all of these things are different tools and devices in a way that are decoding the code. Now, if you can shift the device, you shift the way that you decode the code, and therefore you perceive things differently. That's how awareness works. Your awareness, as your awareness changes, what does ascension actually mean? Ascension means, well, on the surface, you're going to start perceiving things differently. You'll start being more aware of things that you weren't aware of before. You may begin to start seeing things that you couldn't see at a different level of awareness because you're tuning into other resonances. But as you tune into other resonances, you're actually changing the way that your devices decode the code, and you see things differently. So all in all, we are creating everything, because the only reason why we're perceiving in the first place is because this matrix, this code, is flowing through us. And we're the conduits and the mediums that allow this code to be decoded as what we call reality. In other words, what's on the computer screen. And when we understand that completely, not just through conceptual understanding, but through experience, the next step that we'll get to is, all right, we understand how those things work. Now, how do we change the code? Because if you know anything about building a website, you'll know that you build the website based on how you code it. And if you change the code, you change the website. That's where conscious manifestation comes in at a much higher level of awareness. And as we move through our ascension process, we will learn how these codes work. But if we're given that too soon, it's almost like giving the code to apple.com or youtube.com to somebody that has ill intentions with the website. They can do harm. And right now, and I'm using those companies because they're some of the biggest companies in the world.
Sure.
So you're talking about a universal code here. You give us that on the collective level too soon, where we're not ready to be responsible with that and how to use it, we can destroy a lot of things here. And that's why I think things like the pyramid code and things like rays of light and their codes are not being released right now, because we're not yet at the point where we can handle them in a responsible way.
Frequencies are everything that make up that which we experience, decode within the matrix. And this journey that you are choosing to embark upon is a study of some of those waves, frequencies, through the sacred languages as a blueprint, creation, as a conscious creator, consciously aware of what we are creating in the matrix. Our hope is that through this introduction, we will bring forth elements for you to ponder how a radical shift in thought, consciousness, can change not only you, but the world matrix that we experience as we connect to our heart in full. We are the creator of our reality. We have created this matrix, and it is up to us to fix it.